Hello and welcome to lesson number 5. In this lesson I'm going to teach you how to get into the zone quickly and easily and on command. So the zone, or being in a state of flow, a lot of people use that. Tim Ferriss will talk about it, and he says it's when your output comes easily and effortlessly to you. So in sports performance, it's when you're performing your absolute best just naturally. You're not thinking about it, so you're going down the hill and you're landing all your snowboard tricks. Or I remember a time when I was about 14 years old and I was playing basketball and I was shooting free throws at my house, and I shot 24 in a row or something like that, and I would grab the ball and shoot it, and it just became, after 5, I clicked in and I would just shoot over and over and over. So I got in a state of flow or in the zone. And it's happened to me in many different sports because I learned and I took these tactics and I figured out how to recreate that feeling and make my body produce that naturally. So I'll use it in martial arts training, I'll use it in snowboarding all the time, skateboarding, surfing, whatever sport that I'm going to be doing and I need to get into that state of mind, I can use this tactic. So the opposite of the zone is when everything's falling apart. So that's why this is extremely powerful, because you definitely have those days where everything's coming easily and effortlessly to you, and then you have those days where you just can't get it together. So that's when this is absolutely essential and an amazing tool to have, especially on those days. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to remember a time that you were in the zone. Remember a time, and it doesn't have to be snowboarding. It can be anything. It could be skateboarding. It could be another sport. It doesn't even have to be sports related. Just when you were just easily and effortlessly in the state of flow. Everything was going right. Everything was going your way. So I want you to pick at least one powerful memory. So do that now. So for me, I use the basketball time, that scenario, when I was just making the free throws. And I remember a time when I was running at Snow Park and I was coaching snowboard camps, and I was teaching the kids, and we started to play a game of skate or snow or whatever you want to call it, and I was just landing everything, and that whole day, just everything went right for me. So I can put myself in that memory, and when you put yourself in the memory, your mind is recreating all of those feelings. So I want you to pick out 1, 2, or 3 memories in your mind where you can just really remember when you were in the zone. So now that you've thought of a couple, I want you to just pick out the most powerful memory. And what you're going to do now is think about that memory in your mind and begin to live it in as much detail as possible, just like we did in the visualization chapter, or the visualization lesson. So get in your mind and just recreate. So for me, if I'm going to take the basketball scenario, I'm just going to choose one. I can feel the basketball in my hand. I can feel myself shooting the free throw, watching it go in, and really feel that state of mind that I was in, that state of flow. I can feel the sun on my face and make it as absolutely real as possible. Use your imagination and put yourself there. And feel all those feelings of confidence that you felt. Feel basically the excitement and the ease and the confidence that you had, because you're just doing it easily. So go in your mind now and just recreate that, and take a second, close your eyes, and just really get into the feeling. That's step 1. The second step is what we're going to do is we're going to make what's called a trigger in NLP. And a trigger is simply an external stimulus. Could be an internal stimulus too. External stimulus that creates an internal result. So an easy example of a trigger would be if you go watch a funny comedy, and there's a part in the movie where you're watching with your friends and there's a joke, and the joke is one word, or it's blue, or it's a steering wheel, or you draw a sentence, and every time you point to a steering wheel or you say the sentence, you start to laugh easily because it's tied into a hilarious joke and an awesome memory that you had. So it'd be another easy example would be if you were in a car accident, a transport truck ended up hitting you when you were a kid. Well, whenever you see a transport truck, there's a good chance it's going to bring up all these memories of fear. Although you only got hit once, and there's thousands and thousands of transport trucks, because you have that memory, that's a stimulus or a trigger to bring on anxiety. So what we want to do is make triggers that bring on confidence, that bring on a state of flow or being in the zone. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So how you do this is as you're recreating the memory. So now that we've picked out, the first step is picking out a very powerful memory when you were in a state of flow, when you were in the zone. Now the second step is to really build up those feelings. As you imagine it, build up the feelings of confidence and being in the zone as big and as clear and as powerfully as possible. And then all you're going to do is you're going to create physical stimulus. So a very popular one would be to squeeze your non-dominant hand. And the reason why you do your non-dominant hand, it's going to add a little bit more effect to the trigger. It's going to make it a little bit more powerful because it's a little bit more unique. You don't want it to be something that happens every second of the day, like, you know, if you're walking or you're tying up your shoes or something mundane. That you want to make it a little bit specific. Or if you do a specific touch, maybe you're going to touch the inside of your arm, or you're going to touch your collarbone, or, you know, maybe even you touch your ear, which is a bit strange. But what I like and what I usually teach my clients to do is to squeeze their non-dominant hand tightly. And you do this at the point when the memory and the feeling of confidence is at its strongest point. So for me, for my example, I'm going to be sitting, I'm going to be imagining making the free throws, and maybe when I'm at 15 or 16 free throws in a row, and I've really built up that feeling of confidence, knowing that when I get the ball in my hand, that thing's going straight in, it's going to be a swish, and I'm going to get it again. I'm going to keep repeating the process because I'm in the flow. Everything is going right, and it's completely effortless. And I build up that feeling, and then right at the peak of that feeling, I squeeze my fist. And I'm making a trigger, so I'm making an external stimulus to create an internal response. So what I'm doing is I squeeze my fist, I feel all those feelings of confidence, and I try to use visualization however I can. So I could imagine light coming in. Whatever you want to do to play with your imagination is completely fine. Another very powerful tactic is to have a song. So if you have a really powerful song that gets you amped up, squeeze your fist, play that song in your mind, and use them together to create these stimulus that's going to bring on the feeling of confidence. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to say, I am in the zone, and give yourself a short, powerful statement like an affirmation, or, as I said before, an intention for your mind, an intention for your subconscious. So for me, I'll say, I'm in the zone. This is easy. You know, I am extremely confident. Anything, any words or sentence you want to use, short and to the point, will work perfectly. So whatever feels right. So I'll squeeze my fist, I'll replay the memory in my mind, and I'll say, I am completely confident I am in the zone. And I'm squeezing my left fist as hard as I can, and then I relax. And then replay it again. So what you want to do is go through this sequence at least 3 times in a row. Now when building up these triggers, the more you do it, the more results you're going to see. So it'll take, I say, a good 50 times. So even if you're going to do it throughout the day and you do 5 throughout the day, so you're just going around to eat your breakfast, you imagine the memory, you squeeze your trigger, your non-dominant hand, you tell yourself, I am in the zone, I am completely confident, build up the feelings of being in the zone, release your hand, and then go about your day. And then do it over and over and over again. And by time 50, probably before that, when you squeeze your hand, you're going to begin to feel this rush of energy come in, because you're creating this memory and you're making it real and active to your mind. Because your mind, the same parts of your brain are going to activate when you visualize something and when something actually happens. So if you visualize a 360 and you do a 360, the same part of your brain is going to fire. So if you're thinking about and imagining confident states of mind, being in the zone, those parts of your mind are going to fire off and they're going to be active. So you want to do that. It's going to take a little bit of time, but eventually your trigger is going to become extremely powerful and you're going to be able to use it whenever you want. And for me now, I get to the point where if I do need it, I just simply need to squeeze my fist, say I'm in the zone, and I can pretty much get myself right into a confident state of mind. It does help some of the other things that I've done, like meditation and guided visualizations and self-hypnosis, which I think I'm going to get into a little bit in the next lesson when I talk about taking your mental game to the next level. It's a very easy and simple process, but it's just about programming your mind. So as you use all these techniques, they're going to become compounded together, and they're all going to work together to make all of this so much more powerful. And what you need to do is just suspend your disbelief if you do have reservations and just try it over and over again, because the thing is with the mental game, it's hard to see the results right away, but you're going to feel them. And I know that when you do these techniques, when you visualize, when you try to set your zone trigger and you start setting intentions, you're going to see results quite quickly. But it's not like if you go for a workout and you go to the gym and you start lifting more weights. It's a very tangible thing. It's kind of intangible, but you're going to feel it internally, and I promise you, you will get results by trying this stuff. You just need to do it repetitively. And it's the exact same thing with anything else. You don't go out and snowboard and you're a pro the first day. You don't go to the gym and you lift huge weights the first day. It takes a little bit of progression, a little bit of a learning curve, and when you stick to it, you're going to see fantastic results. And in the Zen snowboarding program, I've laid it all out nice and simply and easy for you, so it's not confusing. You simply just need to use the tactic. And these are the tactics that I've studied for years: martial arts, snowboarding, skiing. I've experimented with them in tennis. So my friends that are athletes, and some of them are on the Olympic ski team, things like that. All of these tools are very transferable, and they're very, very powerful, and they absolutely work. Okay, so I got caught in another rant again. I'm going to try to quickly wrap this up for you. So step 1 is to pick a powerful memory. Step 2 is to visualize that memory and amplify the feeling of confidence. Step 3 is going to be setting off your trigger, so squeezing your non-dominant hand, playing a song, ideally, if that adds to the effect of the trigger, and feeling the feeling of confidence. And then a short, powerful statement, an intention-setting statement. So I am in the zone. I am snowboarding my best. I can land this trick, whatever you want, and set them all off simultaneously, and then repeat that process at least 50 times. And as you do it, it's going to increase the power and effectiveness of this trigger. So I really hope that this lesson was helpful. If you're interested in some of this stuff, I recommend looking into NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and Sport. It's extremely valuable stuff. NLP was developed by Richard Bandler and Milton Erickson, the two best hypnotherapists at the time, and they figured that hypnotherapy was great, is functional, but we can make it better. And it's basically modeling excellence. That's what they do. So if you're the best snowboarder in the world, they're going to look at how you think, what you believe, neuro-linguistic, how you talk about it, what words do you use, how do you talk about yourself, what conversations do you have on a daily basis, and programming, what habits you have. And what they do is create a model, and it's modeling excellence. So I highly suggest NLP book, an NLP Basics book. It's a relatively easy read. You don't need to do a huge, massive manual, although there are big courses, which I have taken quite a few. You can learn so much in just a simple manual. You don't need to go crazy into it, but just start to learn about states of mind, reframing, and some simple tactics can really take you a long way. So I'd highly recommend that, and I will see you in the next lesson where I'm going to talk about meditation, guided visualizations, a little bit about hypnosis, self-hypnosis. I don't want to freak you out there. I'll talk a little bit about it. I kind of just call it belief programming or intention programming, anything like that, because it's quite a simple process, and how to take your mental game to the next level. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the final lesson in a little bit.